here's a huge thing. I'll be going to the presidential inauguration, the pre-VIP event, and Lord willing, we'll be closing the deal by doing Trump's birthday cigar and his inaugurations.
Man, we got all kinds of new things on here. Holy cow, that is awesome. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Nocturnal.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Caleb Gordon podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Gordon. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be a part of the program today. We are in the new studio in a bunker in the middle of the country. No, we are in the new studio. We got new art getting ready to go up. You can't see it that well. Let me move the mic a little bit there. I love this buffalo. See if I can get it down just a little bit. We still got a few boxes. There it is. It's going to be a big print behind me there. So I think you guys, I'm going to enjoy it. But the new studio is coming along, and we've had one interview so far with Andrew Rappaport. It was a great conversation. Love that. On the podcast today, we have Chance Summers, who is the founder of 1689 Cigars, and we have a fun conversation. Like, this is I had a blast on this conversation. He makes some special announcements about the inauguration, about Built to Conquer Conference. They're going to be one of our sponsors. They're going to be here in February. Keith Foskey makes a surprise drop-in visit as well. Quite a fun time has been had on the Caleb Gordon podcast today. So I pray it encourages you and challenges you this week. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Chance Summers. What do you know, bro?
Not much.
How's that White Castle treating you?
Oh, delicious. It was delicious. Just finished it.
No, hold on. Is this a White Castle that, like, you got from the frozen food section, or do you all have a White Castle in town?
This is America, bro. We have a White Castle in town.
Bro, what part of the world are you in again?
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
But you're not close to In-N-Out. You don't have an In-N-Out. So
Actually, they're building one here.
Shut up.
Yeah, they're building an In-N-Out, and I forget what other joint from the West Coast, but I just moved from California, so I'm used to all the good restaurants.
Dang. Okay, well, it is what it is. I'm excited you're here. We met at a conference this fall in person. I followed you a little bit online, and got to meet you, shake your hand in person, and we meant to do a podcast together in person, but just time didn't allow for it. So I figured, hey, let's just do it here. And I wanted to. You're coming to our conference in February,
yeah,
and I, as one of our sponsors. And I thought, man, people need to know who you are and what you're doing. So tell us more about 1689 Cigars and why you came up, or why did you decide to start a cigar company, and where did you come up with the 1689 idea?
Yeah, so if anybody smokes cigars, they know that cigars always are referenced to like a date or starting point. And so it's just part of marketing. I'm an elder at a 1689 Confessionally Reformed Baptist Church. So I thought, I'll throw the confession in. So when somebody asks about the cigars, it leads into discipleship opportunity, maybe even evangelism, which has happened and does happen often here at the Cigar Lounge. I mean, 30 minutes ago, we just had a guy come in and ask, what does this represent? And one of our workers up front was sharing the gospel with him. So
that's so wild because historically, I'm from a traditionally Southern Baptist background. I'm now Reformed Baptist, but I came from a traditionally Southern Baptist background. And in the Southern Baptist world, smoking cigars is not synonymous with evangelicalism.
Yeah.
How do you walk through that? Because I'm sure that there's probably been some pushback a little bit from.
Well, yeah, I mean, I come from the independent fundamental Baptist world where like looking at a cigar is sinful, right? I mean, even going and eating at a place that sells alcohol, like straight to hell. You know, that's the background I come from.
Straight through jail.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, yeah, there was a lot of disowning from my own tribe.
So how did you move from? Were you a KJV only guy too?
I was KJV only light. I was never committed to that position.
Okay.
I mean, our church we use the King James, but we're
Sure,
not going to be
sure.
only. I
So
preach out of the ESV.
how did you jump from there to Reformed Baptist? How did you get there?
Man, long story short, I was converted when I was 16 through evangelism. I was actually about to blow my brains out, and a pastor knocked on the door and shared the gospel with me, and Christ saved me. So my testimony didn't make sense to the IFB church I started attending. Like they were like, "Oh, you chose God, you did all these things," and I was like, "Man, not me. I was not seeking after God. I wasn't looking for God. God came and found me."
Come on.
And so like my testimony was just opposite of what I was being taught in the dogma. I obviously believed it because that's what I was being discipled in. And then
Sure.
I'm going through, I'm reading, the good thing about the fundamentalist movement is they do treat the scripture as like authoritative,
Yes.
and they do hold to a position of scripture alone. And so that's what I was taught. And so as I'm reading through, I see these inconsistencies in their theology. And I'm one of those guys that will just ask questions, not to be a jerk, but I want to know why people believe what they believe.
Well,
And
and
so
I
I
think
started,
that there's nothing wrong with that. I think asking the legitimate questions, why do things, why do we believe what we believe? I think that's a smart thing to do as a Christian.
yeah, yeah. So I started examining some of their theology, asking questions, and fast forward to my time in Bible college. So went to Bible college to get prepared to be a pastor, which Bible college didn't prepare me to be a pastor at all. It was just I got kicked out twice.
Oh wow.
Well, I went there and we're going through like hermeneutics 101 is what the class was called. And then church ed was after that. And so in hermeneutics, they're talking about John 6. And I was like following along. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh no, this is their interpretation of the scripture is faulty and they're
Yeah.
standing on faulty ground,
I don't know how you can read John 6 and not understand God's sovereignty, God's election, I don't get it. I can't. I don't know how you can pull anything other than God's the one who makes the decisions. I don't know. That's just me. But continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I didn't even know what Calvinism was, and my prof he goes, "You're a Calvinist," and I'm like, "What
And
the heck is a Calvinist?" So I go home. I'm already reading Spurgeon. I'm cutting my teeth on MacArthur,
yes.
and so I go home and I look up what is a Calvinist. The first sermon that pops up is why every Calvinist should be a premillennialist. It was like 6 sermons from MacArthur about premill positions.
Yes.
So, I mean, I cut my teeth on that and I started going down the rabbit hole. And my theology was blossoming. It wasn't like changing. It was coming to truer understanding or I could see better. It was like I was squinting through, some foggy glasses and that fog was starting to dissipate. And so as I was learning the Reformed theology, I didn't even know what Reformed theology was.
Hmm.
And so, I'm starting to learn this. And then we had a time where my wife and we went and visited like every denomination besides, I think, well, we even visited a Methodist church. Uh, God help those people.
Keith Foskey would be so he would be so on board right now with his lisp and his popped collar.
Yeah. Speaking of Keith Foskey, we're about to drop him a cigar here soon. But we,
Nice.
we
Okay, I gotta tell you this. I did send him the link to our conversation, and I said, if you want to pop in, just surprise him. Let's do it. And so I'm hoping he does it. And so he said if he gets the opportunity, he will. So he may jump in here and surprise us, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That's Grandpa Keith. That's what I'm gonna start calling him.
Grandpa Keith.
Everybody gets along with him.
That's awesome.
So coming to the Reformed faith wasn't like I was in the cage for a while because I'm starting to
Sure.
learn this theology. We're going to Evangelical Light Church that it's preaching baptismal regeneration, and I'm learning like theological understandings. I'm like, oh, that's a landmine, and so
Oh
we
yeah,
started.
no doubt.
Yeah, we started seeking out other churches, and I ended up at a SBC Reformed Light Church.
Okay.
They were New Covenant in their position, like Grudem.
Yep.
And so I'm being taught by these guys, and they're great, well trained. I mean, he has his PhD from Southern, and then COVID hits, and it was like COVID castrated this man.
Isn't that
And
wild how that happened? So many guys just lost their spines when it came to
yeah,
actual biblical things in the world. It's just so wild.
yeah. And so we went like a year and a half without having church. And so my wife and I called the deacons and the elders together and I just said, hey, I can't sit under your leadership. I think you're sinning against God. And they politely asked me to resign as
Oh
an elder in
wow,
training. So I did. And, you know,
that's probably it was that's probably the best thing for you though.
yeah, I mean, looking back, they had me sign an NDA. They had me do all these like really weird things that I did.
Was it a larger church?
It was one of the larger churches in the area. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So
Oh
like
wow.
I didn't understand what I was doing. You know, I was young and green, so I probably wouldn't have signed the NDA last time, and there would have probably been a little bit more kicking and fighting as I left. But I left peacefully. And then we ended up driving about 2 hours to go down to I don't know if you know who Joseph Spurgeon is.
I don't. I
Sovereign
know who
King Church.
C8. I know who C8 Spurgeon is, but I don't know
Yeah.
Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph Spurgeon, he's a pastor down in Sovereign King Church in Clarksville, Indiana, not Tennessee. And so we started driving about 2 hours there, had great fellowship, and we were probably in the process of probably joining the church and moving down to the Clarksville area. And then the Lord opened up the door for us to go out to California to kind of revitalize a church, which in my arrogance, I went without having a sending church. And this is where like my Reformed theology actually blossomed the 2 years I was out there. One of the reasons I resigned out there was part that I didn't have a sending church. I was a rogue pastor. And so I came back to Clarksville. And then while I was here, a position for a headmaster of a classical school opened up. I took that position for about 2 years. There were some issues amongst the schools. Anybody who has run a classical school knows the financial burden and things like that.
Sure, sure.
So we ended up having to shut down after the school had been open for 17 years. And we made a good effort for 2 years. And then during that 2 years, I met Al Gomez, and he runs Reform Cigars, and I basically became his liaison for the states and started selling Reform cigars, figuring out all the stuff to do. And then I thought, I want to do this on my own. I think I can do it better, and so I started it and started with 100 cigars and $800, and then now we've sold to the entire nation, to the states that we legally can sell to. I
Sure.
gotta clarify that. And we've sold internationally.
Okay.
And now, like, here's a huge thing. I'll be going to the presidential inauguration, the pre VIP event, and Lord willing, we'll be closing the deal by doing Trump's birthday cigar and his inauguration cigar.
Oh my goodness, how cool is that?
Yeah, yeah. So we've went from
Now
this.
he didn't even smoke cigars, which is
No,
funny.
but
That's
Eric
funny.
and Junior do.
Oh
So
yeah.
we've been in conversations with them over the last couple of weeks, and it's been really neat to see these things transpire. Getting invited to that inauguration event is really neat. You know,
That's a cool deal, man. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time I've said anything publicly about that because
Yeah.
you share most of your victories privately, and then once you want to get some Facebook likes, you put it on public. So we've done a lot in 2.5 years. We're opening up a second location. So we have one location in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Okay.
We'll open up our second location in Oak Grove, Kentucky, right outside of Gate 7 in Fort Campbell. And the breakdown of that, it's going to be our church plant's going to be there, our cigar lounge is going to be there, and there's going to be a coffee shop there. And so we're really embracing not completely puritanical theology, but having the full sphere of business, church, employing your churchmen
Yes.
and women where they can. And so it's been a long stint. We have a group of guys that are actually moving here to Clarksville to help out with the church plans, to help out with business, and
That's fantastic. So
you know,
obviously you've moved into. You're not pre-mill. I'm guessing you're post-mill.
I'm an optimistic all mill.
Okay, all right. I got a lot of those buddies too. So we're
Yeah.
good. We're good.
Yeah, so I'm not drinking that post mill Kool-Aid,
You'll get there eventually. It's fine.
I'm very optimistic, right? And I get the position.
Sure.
And
I used
so
to I used to be a Dispy, so I was a pre-trib rapture Dispy, and now I'm completely on the other side. Now I'm a post mill.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you know what cured me of my dispensationalism?
What's that?
When a pastor got up and said that there's going to be another sacrifice put on the altar of the temple, and I was like, that's blasphemy.
That sounds really, really crazy.
Yeah, so that's what cured me of dispensationalism.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, so I guess I started out in the dispy world. I hope it dies, and that's the way I feel about
Sure.
dispensationalism.
Sure.
Historic primo.
I have a ton of grace for the dispensationalists because I was in that camp for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
And I grew up under, and my dad was on staff with Dr. Adrian Rogers, so I get it, and I have an extra level of grace. But I started just walking people through the way I got walked through.
Yeah.
In this, and now I'm jumped into the whole post mill. Let's go, baby. So,
yeah. So I hope it dies by.
Oh, hold on. Speaking of Grandpa Keith, hang on just a second. Do we have? Is this? I feel like there's an audio connection here. Grandpa Keith, did he just join our podcast?
Yes, but I don't know if you. I don't think you can see me.
I can't see you. Oh, no!
There he is. There he is.
Look out, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm here with my off-brand Fresca and
Nice.
my apparently odd orange chair that shouldn't be in the shot. So I apologize.
That's okay. I've got a unhung
Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
But,
He's gonna buffalo you.
Yeah, I'm gonna buffalo you. So I figured you'd have your Presbyterian garb on there, Keith. But
You know what's funny is I just took it off because I just finished a show. I just finished a bow tie dialogue. I literally just took my bow tie off because I'm getting ready to go to a meeting. And then I remembered because you sent me that message and I said, oh, I got to jump on here real quick and say, hey, Chance, hey, man, how are you?
What's up, brother?
Hey, I want you to know I have not forgotten to send you those pictures. I've just been slammed the last few days, but I'm going to get those pictures to your secretary. I know nobody cares about this but you, but
No, I think it's awesome. We have some really cool cigar bands working with you, Keith, and I can't wait to launch them.
yeah.
well,
me too.
that's what happened. Is he announced it here on the podcast that you're getting your own cigar, and I was like, oh, I've forgotten. And that's when I was like down here texting you. I was like, Grandpa Keith.
Yes.
Yeah. Our running joke is you're like Grandpa Keith. You're always trying to keep the Reformed family together. And
Oh,
so,
come on.
That's all it is.
Yeah. So we
Can you
plug you as Grandpa.
So can you explain who's mad at who right now? I mean, who's ticked off at who in the Reformed Twitter world?
Well, right now, I think James White is mad at me because I didn't put enough arrows for that graphic. I didn't give enough. If you saw the graphic with this guy, and he sent me a message. He goes, "Hey, there wasn't enough arrows pointing toward the people I'm not cool with."
That's so awesome. That's great.
Did you really get holy noped?
Oh no, that was a joke. That was a
parody?
my brother made that. That my brother loves Holy Nope, so he took the Holy Nope video and he added in my podcast, so it looked like I got noped, and that was funny.
That was really
that would be
funny.
a good prank to pull on anybody.
Yeah, that was really funny.
It's awesome. Well, I'm glad you joined. We're just talking about how 1689 Cigars came about, and we got a bunch of Reformed Baptists on here. I love it. I'm really excited right now. I don't have any Presbyterians sneaking in on this podcast, so.
Yeah, the truly Reformed, the ones who kept on reforming, are on this podcast.
That's right. That's right. We reformed baptism too. Check it out.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. That's awesome. So, okay. So, not only do you do cigars, but I see behind you, you have a lot of bulletproof vests. Just wanted to say thank you to one of our amazing sponsors, Revo Financial. For many people, financial stewardship isn't just about smart financial decisions. It's about aligning those decisions with their faith and values. Revo Financial brings biblical wisdom to the financial planning and investment process. Whether you're planning for retirement, college, or special charitable strategies, Revo Financial helps you create a roadmap that aligns your spiritual values, Visit revofinancial.com and set up your complimentary one-on-one appointment today and start building a future that honors your faith. Revo Financial.
Yeah, so we're entering into 1689 Armory. So we're going to be doing some level 4, level 3 ceramic bulletproof body armor. And then we're also, this isn't public yet, so I guess you're going to get another first. We're going to be releasing a 1689 AR. So we're going to be building out our own AR.
I feel like Keith and I need like samples of those. If you want to send those to me and to Keith both, that'd be fantastic, and we'll take pictures with them.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some giveaways with those for marketing purposes. We also have the coffee company that we're working with, and then a distillery we're working with. So we're kind of diversifying our portfolio just because we've learned over the last 4 years you need a lot of different streams of income to make it through the economics. And honestly, I think Trump's going to help us, but we might have 4 good years, and then, the liberals might come back and kicking and screaming. And
I'm really hoping they don't. Does Keith know that you're going, that you got the Trump cigar?
No, I mean, you're the first person I've told live, obviously.
So wild. Keith, you get to be a part of this, bro.
Yeah, there's
a picture of it.
Yeah, if you go to trumpcigars.us, it'll pull it right up.
Nice.
There's some ramifications of this. Obviously, it's public now, but I'm going to the inauguration. I'll be at a pre-VIP event on the 19th, and so Lord willing, I'll be sitting down with the Donald.
We knew him when we knew him before he was famous.
That's pretty epic, my friend. That you're going to sit down with DT himself.
There's a possibility. It's not 100%, but we're going to try. We're going to try.
Well, let him know if he thinks I'm funny. I'm available too. I'm just saying.
Get all the Baptists in the room.
Can you do it? Can you do a Donald Trump impression?
Not really. I'm bad at impressions, as you could probably tell from my videos. All of my accents are really bad. They end up being just a cheesy Cockney sort of, oh, hey, governor kind of thing. So I'll just say no.
Yeah, all I know is it's going to be huge.
I love it.
Huge. It's huge. Everybody can say huge. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Congratulations, man. That's cool. I'm glad to hear that things are branching out. And like I said, I'm looking forward to what we're doing together. And man, one of those ARs would be pretty sweet. So hopefully I'll get a chance to at least take a picture with one, if not own one.
maybe we can do something like a giveaway on your podcast, and then you get one in return.
Dude, I just know that I am available.
Yeah. We by God's grace, we're moving into a lot of different areas. And I think, so my first 8 years of being converted, I thought it was virtuous to be poor. And then prior to that, I had always had good paying jobs with good sales, and I just did really well in the marketing area. And then it was my wife, she came to me one day and she goes, it's not super virtuous that we always are poor. And I was like, oof. And so that was a kick to the gonads. And then, everything else started falling in line where I was like, yeah, I have to provide well. My wife's my first ministry. And then our daughter came along, and that kind of expedited this process. So by God's grace, we want to further the kingdom, but we want to make as much as money as possible to do that.
Hey, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that I was in the same boat, because anytime you talk about making money, everybody immediately goes, well, you're part of the health, wealth, and prosperity group. And I'm like, and so you're always careful to want to stay away from that. But man, God created work. God gave us the drive to work and to build and to conquer. And that's what we should be doing. Amen.
Yeah. Taking dominion in every place. Are you post-mill now, Keith?
I'm learning that too, just with myself, with sponsors and stuff, because I've got people wanting to sponsor the show now and things like that. And I didn't know how to handle that at first, because I was like, well, I don't want to take your money. But then I'm like, but what I'm doing is worth something. What I'm doing is valuable.
Got to pay your bills.
Yeah. I mean, so that was, it's a growth for me too, just because this has some value, and obviously what you're doing, Chance, has a lot of value. Obviously there's money involved. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So, okay, if somebody's interested in wanting to, because you are also available to help set up cigar lounges and things of that nature from all these different avenues. If they were interested in getting a hold of you, how do they do that?
Yeah, so you can email me, chance at 1689cigars.com, or our phone number is on the website, which is linked to a business phone that I have on me all the time. I handle all of our inquiries. We actually just hired a guy to do this because we're getting a lot more inquiries lately. But typically, I'm going to be in that discussion. I want to see what you guys want to do. We have a model that Lord willing, we're going to be testing this year, and then 2026 we want to roll it out to where you can have a cigar lounge franchise, a coffee shop franchise, and then your church plant. So wherever you want to go, you already have an economic system where if the pastor has to work by vocational, he can work at the cigar lounge that's right beside the church plant. And
Which
so if
is,
he,
I mean, like I said, I grew up in a Southern Baptist traditional setting, and to hear you say that is,
it's wild, yeah.
I just, it's just funny to me. But that's fantastic. So they can get a hold of you through emailing you directly or just giving you a call.
Yeah, call in that phone number that's on the website. You can shoot a text as well. I would say calling me and emailing me is the best.
It's
I
quick.
get, yeah, I get so many texts during the day that if I miss it, it's not because I don't care about you. It's because
You're
there's
busy.
probably 50 other ones I missed.
Well, you're coming in February to the Built. Speaking of Built to Conquer, the Built to Conquer conference is in February, February 22nd, 2025. We're going to be we're at Hope Presbyterian Church, so I mean, we're going to try to take over the Presbyterian Church that day. So, you're bringing all.
And my daughter's getting married, so that's why I was unable to join you.
Yeah, he can't come. That's why he can't come. So I listen.
That's a good excuse.
You good?
Yeah.
I mean, as excuses go, Keith. I mean, that's a legitimate excuse. So
That's a good one.
we'll let
That's
it
a
go.
good one.
But you're going to be there. What will you have on site, and how if people are interested and want to know more there, what are you going to have there?
Yeah, so I think from what we've discussed, I'm going to bring some cigars, and I'll probably, Lord willing, we're trying to squeak out a band for you, so you'll have some of your own bands there for your conference. I was going to let you know that today, so
Ooh,
here you
that's
go.
cool.
There's another
Man,
first.
man, we got all kinds of new things on here. Holy cow, that is awesome. Woohoo!
Yeah, yeah. So there's that, and then we'll have certain cigars that'll be there. You'll have to order them via online, and then we deliver them to you a little bit later. That's how going to work, just for legal purposes. And then with that, I don't know. I don't think we want to tote body armor or anything like that.
Right, fair enough. No, I get that. I get that. Well, that's exciting. I'm so stoked that you're coming. And like I said, I'm one of the things that I love about what you push out and what you're trying to make sure that happens is this idea of having masculine fellowship. No king but Christ. Yes, that's what he's pushing. But the idea of masculine fellowship, and I feel like that's one of the things that especially in the church world, we don't do a good job of guys hanging out. If you go to Branson, Missouri, and you look at the buses that pull up, it's full of gray-haired old women. You don't see a bunch of dudes getting together and fellowshipping. You're trying to get around that idea of getting together, having a cigar, talking about the things of Jesus, and moving towards him in a way that is tangible and lasting. So I love that.
Yeah, and most of the
Others,
conversations.
I hate to say it, I have to run, and I wanted to come on to say, Chance, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and I love both you brothers. But thanks for inviting me on, Caleb.
Hey,
Like I
brother.
said,
Love you,
I
man,
gotta
brother.
run to my meeting.
Yeah.
You got to
Blessings,
go.
brother.
God bless.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like masculine fellowship, what we've built here, and it's been organic at the Cigar Lounge, is we have men come here. They have theological tough questions that we have elders here that can answer them, and then also we have men who are business friendly or business savvy, and so from conversations we already have multiple businesses that have came from the Cigar Lounge, and so the goal here is to produce masculine fellowship, but most of the time, like your masculine fellowship is you're building a house, swinging a hammer with a guy, and you're doing something, you're conquering something according to like taking dominion.
Yes.
And so, a lot of times, you see men's suicide rate is going through the roof. It's because
Yes.
they don't have anything to conquer. They don't have any targets to shoot at, And
When a man
so,
loses purpose, he feels like he has nothing to live for. So if a man has purpose, if a man has a group of guys around him that can help give him purpose, I think that helps move
yeah,
him in a solid direction as well.
yeah, absolutely. And then you know, there's sometimes men are doing stupid things, and you
Yeah.
get good counsel amongst your peers, and
Yes.
iron sharpens iron. And
Yes.
so like everybody runs when the sparks go flying, but that's not what happens here. We cling swords all the time,
Yes.
and we're very ecumenical when there's many different denominations represented at the lounge all the time, and there's theological hard debates. But at the end of the day, if a guy comes in and says, "Hey, I'm struggling with porn," or "Hey, I'm struggling with maybe being unfaithful to my wife," it's like,
Mm.
all right, let's start breaking this down, and
Yes.
then let's get you in contact with your pastors. Let's start working through that. So these are things that happen just organically in a cigar lounge, and obviously it's
Yes.
a Christian cigar lounge, so you're going to have Christian ideas present other than
Yes.
pagan ideas. And so as we grow and as we franchise and as we build out, our goal is to become the Amazon of cigars and then like a national franchise like Starbucks.
You're almost to the post mill setting, bro. You're almost there. So just jump in. Just jump in with both feet. It's way more fun over here. I promise.
I don't know if that's the post mill or the capitalism in me. It's one of the two. So, but yeah, I mean, we've built a great culture. We have an elder on staff, and one of his goals or his requirements to stay on staff is that he has to lose weight. When he came on staff,
Oh wow.
he was like 560 pounds. He's a big boy.
Yes.
He's down to like 450, 452,
Woo!
something
Come
like
on.
that.
Good
And
job.
yeah, it's been like 8 months, and so we're still holding his feet to the fire.
Yes.
But that's the production that you or the process and what comes out of these conversations. Like we're gonna hold people's feet to the fire.
I
He
love
also, I
that.
mean, he also encourages all of us to work out, to get back in shape, to go
Yes.
running, to
Hey,
to make.
you're looking at a dude at the last Built to Conquer conference. My friend Brett Baggett was preaching, and he literally called several of us fat from the pulpit. And I was almost 245, and I was like,
Yeah,
shoot, he's talking to me. I've lost 55 pounds, and man, I feel like a new man. So I'm in. So come on.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, those are just like the basic conversations that go on.
Yes.
Um, and we want to build. We're not scared to take risk, but we're also not going to just like make uninformed decisions. There's a balance there.
Love it. Love it. Well, okay. So if people are interested, they can check out what's the website. Plug your website.
1689cigars.com.
That's pretty simple.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, LinkedIn, all the major social media outlets were there.
That's fantastic. Well, man, brother, I appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing your vision and your heart to advance the kingdom, win souls for Christ, and smoke some good cigars.
Yeah, yeah, you can't. Yeah, I mean, you got to have a victory cigar,
Yeah,
especially
baby.
as Christ returns, right? Yeah.
Amen. Christ is King. Let's go. I love it, man. Thanks so much.